It feels strange, I mean, as a PhD student in Oxford, I used to take the bus every time this man used to play in Highbury, and then go and watch him. And that period, the Invincibles, 2003-4, never would lose a game. He entered, that Arsenal team, and all of a sudden, 2002, going to the World Cup, seeing Sol Campbell score that amazing goal against Sweden, header. One of the greatest centre-backs in history. Make no mistake, one of the greatest footballers to have played for England and in the EPL. Welcome to my city, Sol.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. But how do you look back? I mean, the legacy that you have created from growing up, tough times, making a mark, and then eventually becoming a legend of sport?
I think for me, the legacy is all about, you put your mind to it, you can do it, Yes, there's some tough times. Yes, football can bring amazing highs, and also they can go, lows at that. How do you get out of that? So for me, the highs and lows, the working class background from the streets of East London, playing football, enjoying football, the love of football, and climbing, getting better, playing World Cups, winning championships. That's what it's all about for me. Special, inspiring the next generation as well. I think that's the kind of legacy I want to leave, and that you can do it if you put your mind to it.
And having achieved so much, especially in a country where football is religion, how do you stay grounded?
I think it's, my parents have passed away, but I think, it's definitely my mother gave me that kind of, the feet on the ground. But also, I think for me, the lifestyle I grew up, it was so easy to lose things. So you had to kind of really appreciate everything you have or you gained, and you looked after it, because you never know when it was going to come round again. So you kind of grow up in that type of environment that you never know when you're going to lose things. So when you get things, you look after it and you keep hold of it, and it's like extremely precious. So I've always kept my feet on the ground, because you never know. In careers, I used to see players lose it after 4 or 5 years of kind of being a professional, and then all of a sudden they drop off, and then they go nowhere in a professional game. So I always would, never kind of, old Roman saying, never rest on your laurels.
The reason I asked is, in a family with many brothers and sisters, not really well off, finding it difficult to sort of, from whatever I've read, it was a tough childhood. It was not easy. I mean, from there on to become who you did, football was your expression.
Yeah.
How was that? I mean, not really talking, but putting all of the energies into football.
Yeah, for me, I'm curious. I've always been curious, and I think that is one of my traits. I always wanted to know what's around the corner. Always kept on my toes, and always kind of aware of things. And that's the thing for me. I've always kept that awareness of life, not only in football but in life as well. And I think that's key, really, as a young boy growing up in a really tough background and area environment in East London, Plaistow. You had to keep your wits about you, because you never know what's around the corner. So I think that's the kind of thing I want. That's who I am. I love football. I want to be in football. I used to play mock games, football by myself, pretending that I scored a goal and thousands of people were kind of cheering. All those kind of things, role plays. I've obviously dodged some cars because nearly knocked me over whilst I was playing football in the streets. So, there's near misses, but the love and the passion of football, and always curiosity of what's around the corner, and also the work ethic. I worked really hard because the environment I was in. I just kept on working, kept my head down, kept practicing. I kept on practicing. I didn't notice that I was practicing for 4 or 5 hours. I didn't notice I was practicing to the late hours and sneaking home and knocking on the door, asking my brother to let me in so my parents couldn't hear me coming after dark. So it all leads up to kind of appreciating the game I love dearly.
When I see the career, of course the Arsenal career, so many trophies, so many wins, but also the highs and lows, the lows. How did someone like you, who's been supremely successful, deal with adversity? How did you deal with failure?
I think for me, failure is life, huh? If you don't fail, you don't know how to kind of, grow. Sometimes if you can get out of failure, and get a positive out of it, that's correct. That's good, because you start correcting yourself. You start learning. You learn quickly. You learn, oh, I'm not going to do that again. Or, you know what, next time that football player plays against me, I'm going to watch that move. Or be more closely kind of paying attention to all sorts of things and the detail of football games. So for me, the grounding, the tough upbringing, my DNA as well, just who I am as a human being, let alone a footballer, and also knowing that you are going to come against adversity. It's going to be choppy waters. No one has a plain sailing life. I haven't got rose tinted glasses. I didn't grow up with a net that if I fell, the net's going to come and save me. So I kind of played football like that. I knew that if it didn't work out, I'll start again. It's all about if you can start again. Some people, haven't got the energy to start again, but I had that mentality from the second, once I started being aware of life. I always said to myself, if I hit the floor, it's not how you hit the floor, it's how you get up.
Captaining England, leading the team in a World Cup, what did that mean to you? I mean, playing in front of millions and billions watching, and people saying Sol Campbell the greatest and one of the greatest and all that.
Never get carried away with it. Don't get carried away with it, because it's short-lived. And I've always been like that. I've seen so many players get carried away, and then, I said before in the beginning of the conversation, lose themselves, and they don't end up 4 or 5 years of the last, or even 10 years of the back end of the career. It's just wasteful. I've seen that type. There's a wasteland of players who've wasted their talent. They're all over the world. I wasn't going to be like that. I wanted to make sure, I got my feet on the ground and make sure I'm positive everything I do, and make sure I win things. That's another thing. I was focused on that.
What was the highest point? Something that you close your eyes and I did this.
I think the Invincibles season is, going the whole season without losing is iconic. It's like iconic.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that 2-2 draw. I was there, possibly in the stadium.
Yeah. Which game was that?
The final game of that season, I think.
Well, 1-2-1. No, Leicester.
Leicester,
we're 1-2-1. Yeah, 1-2-1. Yeah.
And what an incredible season that was.
It's special.
Special season.
I think those seasons. I think a lot of people can, have amazing team, amazing stadium, amazing manager. Create an incredible, squad. But I think those kind of accolades, they're so special, so unique. I think it chooses you. You don't choose it. Because there's moments in that season, I go back to, say, Manchester United. I didn't play that day because my father passed away and bereavement, so I didn't play that day against Manchester United at Old Trafford. Vinicius comes up, puts the ball, penalty, the way he got the penalty was a little bit dubious. 9 seconds of the game, hits the crossbar. That goes in.
Done.
There's no Invincibles. That's the luck, that's the size of luck you need sometimes.
Why is England not winning a major trophy? You've got so much talent.
We should have. I think the moments, I think when they deliberate and when they go back, I think with the first one against Italy at home, in the Euros, I think maybe they should have been a bit more braver with maybe Kane and maybe Sterling, more up front, because what happens, we all were pushed back, and then even the defender scored the first goal, the equaliser goal. I think if we pushed them back and had 2 centre forwards, Kane and say Sterling, I don't think the Italians would be so cavalier. That's what happened. We kind of retreated. I think Gareth should have saw that coming and should have said, you know what, I'm going to be brave. A little bit braver in the moments. Obviously, second time with Spain, I think we got a little bit tired. I think, Spain at the time put a new, fresh centre forward. That's the guy who came in. Cucurella's, crossed the first time ball, exquisite ball. But I think the back line after, such a, grueling competition, last 20 minutes to go, playing and chasing the ball, then that ball goes in, they score. I think if you change the back and maybe move some players forward, maybe put Mark Gay on and move Walker up, and then Carl Palmer more central, that would have been kind of a bit more cut and fresh, a bit more fresh legs. It's moments.
Final question, what's next for Sol Campbell? Achieved a lot, but what's next? What drives you? What keeps you going?
Drives me now, I create platforms. I studied at Harvard, sports, media and business course. So, and I've taken that with me now, and since I've started platforms to help football players, to help fitness in football as well, and I started podcasts, videocasts, what I'm doing now to create more content for me and other players. So I've created those things. I want to use that to help countries like, say, India one day, maybe in the fitness side, maybe in the predictive kind of football side, and then also the player identification, find out who you really got in the country.
Suppose an India job was ever on the line, some job advising India, something to help.
Advisor, I would definitely look at advisor for sure.
You would?
Yeah, definitely would, yeah.
Final question, Kolkata, have you tasted any local mishti? Have you tasted Indian
I've
food?
tasted a lot of food. I don't know every single name, but there's a lot of sugar, there's a lot of sweet here, there's a lot of sweet. So only a little bit because I don't want to have too much sweet, but they love sweet here.
They do.
It's beautiful. It's delicious as well.
And your football was sweet as well. So we'll end on that note. Sol Campbell, thank you very much.
Thank you
Very much for speaking today.